will present to us their group presentation. And just a short tip, I want you all to have a one PowerPoint presentation, which will be prepared by one person. Basically, will be prepared by one person, and there will be a host who will take charge of the facilitation of the whole presentation. So each member should have a short part in the presentation, and the distribution of topics will be dependent on the assignment given by your leader or group leader. So I give the group leader the leeway on the groupings. However, make sure that every member of the team will have a part to present. No matter how little, for me, it is significant for the success of the presentation. So that will begin starting next week. I think we will be utilizing the whole term, I mean, the whole period for the group presentation since there are 5 groups in the class. So I think we can accommodate all 5, hopefully, within this period. Otherwise, we can extend the presentation until early finals. Okay, so I hope all of you have submitted your portfolio. I'm anticipating that all of you have, because I will be checking your outputs hopefully this weekend for the finalization of your grades in midterm. I have computed already your grades in the prelim, and I have found out there that there are still some of you who have not taken the prelim examination. Hopefully, I can inform that or those students who have incomplete grades in the first 2 terms or the first 2 periods by Thursday. And hopefully you can also check the chat, I mean the messenger group, so that, or the group chat, so that you will be updated of the things that you will still be complying, because I want all of you to pass, of course, not just to pass the course or the subject, but to pass with flying colors. Now, I'm talking about a really good grades. And of course, I'm not giving out grades like big, nice grades or good grades unless you have shown to me that you deserve to be given such. Because I only give good grades to those who deserve to get them. Okay, so our presentation for, or our lesson for tonight, is focused on effective communication in the workplace. And I have 2 objectives for this presentation. So let me present to you the objectives. Okay, one is to understand the basic principles of communication in the workplace and identify the barriers of effective communication in the workplace. Okay, so if I were to ask you, what do you think is the most important uh, thing that we need to do for us to be able to achieve an effective communication in the workplace? What is that very important thing that we need to have in order to create an effective communication in the workplace? But before that, let me ask you this question. What is effective communication in the workplace? Please type your answers in the chat box. What do you think is effective communication in the workplace? What is effective communication in the workplace? What's your idea of effective communication? So when you talk about effective communication in the workplace, what comes to your mind? And the second question is, what is one important thing to, to consider to achieve effective communication in the workplace? Okay, so please type your answers of, I mean, for the two, or yeah, your answers to the 2 questions that I have posted here. One is what is effective communication in the workplace. Another is what is one important thing to consider to achieve effective communication in the workplace. So please type your answers in the chat box. I will give you maybe 2 to 3 minutes to work on this, and our time begins now. So again, what is effective communication in the workplace? One idea that you can relate to effective communication in the workplace. And what is this one thing that we need to consider to achieve effective communication in the workplace? So since all of you are taking education course, so you will become a teacher someday. So what is it that, or what is it that what concept or idea can you relate to effective communication in the workplace? Okay, thank you so much, Fei Ann, for sharing your thoughts. Fei Ann said that the effective communication in the workplace refers to the ability to connect, relate, or even resolve the conflicts in the workplace. Okay, so she's talking about the connection that we can establish with our colleagues, right? Or our principal or our supervisor or a superintendent, and then being able to connect and relate to them. Okay, which means to say you can engage in a collegial, very friendly discussions and resolve conflicts in the workplace. I like the idea of resolving conflict because this is just the tip of the iceberg. But I would like to say that conflict is not, or conflicts are not always bad. Sometimes conflicts are good because they can open more ideas. They can open, or they can start further discussions of certain issues. If there are no conflicts, sometimes there will be no change, because sometimes change begins when there is a conflict. And if it is properly handled and properly resolved, as mentioned by Faye and here, it will create new opportunities. So from conflict, we can open new possibilities, new doors for improvement, or new rooms for improvement, so to speak, new doors for possibilities. Okay. So what else? What important thing do we have to consider to achieve effective communication in the workplace? For us to be able to achieve connection, relation, or being able to relate, and for us to be able to resolve conflicts, what do we do here? Okay, what important thing should we consider for us to be able to achieve this? For us to be able to connect, to relate, and to resolve conflicts, what should we do as a member or as part of the workplace? What should we do? Okay, so some more ideas. Okay, so you can more or less reserve your answers later as we go through with the discussion on effective communication in the workplace. I know that many of you are still organizing your thoughts. You can continue answering it here. That will serve also as your participation for tonight's discussion. So let's move forward. Okay, let us analyze here some of the statements related to effective communication in the workplace. So the big question is, what is effective communication in the workplace? Fei An has given us already the idea as to what effective communication in the workplace is by relating it to the ability to connect, to relate, and to resolve conflicts in the workplace. Okay? So it says here that communication plays a vital role in the success of every organization, which means that if the communication is healthy in that organization will continue to thrive. If there is no communication, or maybe if there is communication in the organization but not properly managed, it can result to conflict. That is why, as mentioned here, communication is vital in the success of every organization, be it in a group, for example, of 5 people, or in a school with let's say 10 teachers, or in even in a small business where members are just few. Effective communication or communication plays a vital role. That is why we have to study how to communicate effectively in the workplace. Another statement here is it can be effective if the intended message is indeed the same message received by the receiver. So I mentioned earlier, since it is vital, we have to ensure that whatever message we want to articulate or to convey or to express to the members of the group or to whoever we want it expressed, it must be delivered successfully. Otherwise, if it is not understood, if it is not taken according to the intended message by the listener, it would create misinterpretation. And misinterpretation may result to conflict. And conflict can grow. And if it happens, it's so difficult to patch up things. That is why, as early as possible, we need to address issues pertaining to communication in the workplace. Another statement is that a workplace becomes a harmonious haven when every employee is given the avenue to communicate well with each other in a more professional way. Okay, so there are times in the workplace that discussions can be very, you know, very healthy. Like I'm talking about, like sometimes there might be some arguments during the meetings, for example. I remember I had a meeting last time, and two of the participants in the meeting had an argument regarding the suggestion of one person, and another person had a different suggestion. So they tried to argue with each other. So you see, argument is very healthy as long as it is done in a professional way. That's how we resolve, arguments. So it must be done in a very professional way. What is professional way of dealing in with arguments? Of course, we should not curse. No, unang-una, hindi tayo dapat nagmumura. No, when we talk to our colleagues, even though our colleagues are lower in rank compared to us, we have to always show respect because respect begets respect. So if you show respect to the person you are talking to, that person will also accord you with the same respect. But if you throw at something to the person, that person would throw the same thing at you. Diba? Do not do unto others what you do not want others do unto you. In the same manner, do unto others what you want others do unto you. So for us to be able to cultivate that harmonious relationship in a workplace, there must be healthy communication. And healthy communication will only spring from professional dealings with our colleagues. No, kahit na nga sa mga friends, meron tayong sometimes professional dealings. Have you noticed that there are friends of yours which sometimes say something which is below the belt? Na may mga bagay na ganun na parang below the belt na siya, na parang sobra na siya. And sometimes it can hurt us. And once we are hurt, sometimes anger will begin. And that is when conflict also starts. So that is why it is very important to cultivate healthy workplace by always dealing each other nicely and friendly. So it's very important. Now, there are five top skills and qualities that employees must instill in them or must possess for them to be able to cultivate this so-called effective communication. One is communication skills. So, how do you communicate? Communication is not just about, as I mentioned before, it is not just about being able to speak in English or to express yourself in English, but being able to articulate your thoughts in a very professional way. So sabi nga nila, there are many ways on how to kill a chicken, right? 100 ways perhaps on how to dress a chicken. So we have to look for the best way. There are times, when we are so frank, for example, sometimes people would say, siya na yan eh, personality na niya yan, na being frank. Although being frank is okay, but there are also situations that call for a different strategy. So that is why, even though we say na, ito ako eh, no? I'm like this, but do not always impose your own principles, your own standards on others at all times. We have also to understand that there are times when we need to show a little bit of what do you call this, prudence in dealing with things. Yung may konting ah, tawag dito, yung prudence, no? Konting pag-iingat. Baka masaktan ko ito if I'll say this, no? So that is communication, and being a good communicator is not only being able to know how to use the language in the right way, in the right timing, that is also part of it, but being able to articulate what you have in mind, which you believe can create a lasting impact on the success, more or less, of the organization. No, na kailangan ko nang sabihin to kasi dapat para sa pangkalahatan ito. And then strong work ethics. Now, when you talk about work ethics, ang daming definition ng work ethics, no? Pero someone who keeps on working on something, especially for teachers, for example, grabe ang work ethics ng taong ito. No? The work starts at 8 o'clock and ends at 5 o'clock. So talagang ano siya, no? Maximizing the use of his time. Hindi siya nag-engage into extra, extra things na hindi na siya may kinalaman sa work. So sometimes, no, nag-engage in chismis, for example. There are some people who are really enjoying such kind of activity even at the workplace. So part of the work ethics is to value your time and also to value the efforts of others, but above all, to show that what you want others to do is actually reflected on your actions, especially if you're a senior teacher, for example. No? So how will you be respected by your colleagues if you don't even show to them that you possess the qualities worthy of respect? So that's part of work ethics, no? Yung pagpapahalaga sa oras, pagpapahalaga sa trabaho, na kapag trabaho is trabaho, no? And then teamwork skills. Okay? So pag tinutukoy nating teamwork skills, alam ba ninyo ngayon, during the time of the pandemic, teachers are gathered to write modules, to write self-learning modules, to write materials for the learners. Okay? And sometimes we need to work as a team, not just as an individual writer, but as a team for us to be able to finish the task given to us. When you talk about teamwork, it means to say that you are not just part of the team, but you contribute to the success of the team. And that without you, the team will not be complete. That is why it is a job, or it is our job as a member of that team, to contribute so that the team will move forward. So you should have that. And also, you need to work with your team members. Walang contest dito na kagaya sa susunod na linggo, you will be asked, I mean, you will be required to present, right? And there will be 4 to 5 members in the team. Hindi po ito competition that one presenter must be better than the others, na that you are competing with your teammates. I'm looking into how the group, okay, works together as a team, and that collaboration must be seen there. So if one person or if one student is not doing well, another student should help that person so that that person will also achieve the same standard that the rest of the team members has achieved or have achieved. So, yun yung dapat nating gawin. We should work as a team, no? Kasi hindi naman siya contest. So that's what we do I mean in the workplace. We have to work as a team. Kasi hindi naman maganda na yung science lang yung mataas, no? Tapos yung English at saka Filipino mababa. Will you be happy if you will get high scores, or if your students get high score in science but not in all learning areas? Hindi siya maganda, no? It doesn't, I mean, when you talk about teamwork, we should look at the school or the organization as a whole, not as an individual part. So because we want each member of the team achieve the same amount of success that you do. In that way, we can make sure that the organization or the school that we are teaching will receive the same success, or will achieve the success that the school aims to achieve. And then we have analytical skills. Okay, you also have, as a member, you have to analyze things. Do not rely on your I mean, do not rely to your leaders when it comes to decision making. Members must also think. Members must also decide, must also help in the decision process. So in that way, you will be able to come up with a beautiful output. And the last but not the least is initiative skills. Ano tong initiative, no? Kailangan natin napakahirap magkaroon ng inisyatibo, no? Especially sometimes that we rely too much on our leaders. But initiative is innate, na nasa tao 'yan. Na nakita mo na ganito na, so mag-i-initiate ka na, no? Nakita mo wala pa yung leader ninyo, pero wala pa yung host, for example. However, handa naman lahat ng miyembro, no? So even without the host, the leader can take charge of the facilitation of the presentation. I remember during our class in the teaching profession with my other class at the FBC, there were only 3 of them who presented because one was absent during their presentation. And what the leader did was he took the initiative of presenting the part of that presenter who was absent that time. So that's more or less that's the initiative of the leader. Because if the leader did not take the initiative, the presentation would not be completed. That is why that part of having an initiative, and also that teamwork, will really work in tandem or hand in hand. However, these 5 qualities of employees are very important to achieve communication or effective communication in the workplace. Again, I would repeat, we have communication skills, strong work ethics, teamwork skills, analytical skills, and initiative skills. Okay? Now, let's proceed to the next. There are 10 communication skills for workplace success. Kanina, yun yung skills from the employees. Now, let's talk about the skills for workplace success. Ito yung communication skills, focusing only on communication skills. First is non-verbal communication. Okay? We understand that right now, we use nonverbal communications, or I mean communication, in various ways. It can be shown in our faces, it can be shown in the reactions that you are showing on posts on the group chat. Now, just putting there the thumbs up emoji or the thumbs down emoji or the smiley, it would reflect the kind of emotions that you want to portray, especially now that we have very limited face to face. And right now, I have not even conducted to you face to face or a class on a face to face lesson or on a face to face basis, not even once. Hopefully, in the final part or in the final, I do not know if our class will end this December. Maybe our class will end in December, but if the class will end in January, hopefully we can have a face to face. But nonverbal is not in words. These are our actions. These are the emotions that we are showing. Just winking, smiling, these are nonverbal form of communication. Have you noticed that if you like the person, every time you meet him or her, you always smile? But if you don't like the person, have you noticed that you would try to avoid eye contact? So that is a nonverbal form of communication. And that also has a very strong impact in the relationship that we are establishing in the organization. Second, clarity and concision. So when we want to say something, we have to be clear with our statements. Do not beat around the bush. Pag may hihingin ka, sasabihin mo na kaagad, no? Hindi naman masamang sabihin, sabihin mo na, huwag ka nang magpaligoy-ligoy pa. Kasi if you present your idea in a metaphorical way, no? Yung gumamit ka pa ng metaphor, hindi naman lahat ng mga tao nakakaintindi ng metaphor, no? That is why it's good to be clear with your statements and to be concise as well. That is why less word, less mistakes, right? So dapat the shorter the better. And then friendliness. Okay, how can you be friendly? Especially now during the time of the pandemic, there is no reason for us to frown. Why? Because now we have realized the value of relationship. And if we have good relationship with one another, be it with our family members or with our friends or with our colleagues, with our classmates, with our loved ones, we can more or less think more positively. And that will also help us more or less cope with the demands of work. So just being friendly, I think you don't have to fake friendliness, but I think smiling at someone, okay, more or less, do not bring your baggage from home to work. That's one thing, if you carry with you the baggage that you have from the outside and bring them to your school or to whatever organization you will be in, that would already create a different atmosphere. And then picking the right medium. No, mahalaga ditong picking the right medium, especially if the conversation is very sensitive. You're asking for an apology for the action that you may have done and that caused conflict with another colleague. So you can probably meet the person in person, no? Kasi minsan if you ask for an apology through text, it might still be misinterpreted. So I think we have to use the right medium. For example, even in breaking up nga, no? So is it okay for you to break up with your with your boyfriend or with your girlfriend through a text message? So I think that can hurt, right? Which is why when dealing with colleagues, when dealing with people, be it your boss or your colleague or someone under you, we have to pick the right medium in communicating with them. So in that way, we will be able to establish not only rapport but also good relationship with them. Also provide feedback. Now, feedback is very important. And I understand that if feedback is said in the right way, it can improve your fellow employees or your fellow teachers. Though if it is said in the wrong way, if you choose the wrong medium in providing feedback, it can cause even further conflict. That is why it is very important to always speak the right medium and then also to provide feedback. And then confidence in yourself. You have to be confident in your abilities, especially when you become teachers one day. If you have passed the licensure examination for teachers and you have been hired by any school that you applied for and you start teaching, be confident with yourself and be confident with in speaking to your colleagues or in telling your colleagues what you have in your mind, as long as it's for the good of the organization. Respect is number one. I mentioned earlier that respect begets respect. So if you want to be respected, you have to show respect first. Okay. Open mindedness. Okay. So I understand that probably there are some old teachers who think that they are already seasoned and that they don't want to learn something, especially from younger teachers. But, you know, one of the skills for workplace success is open mindedness. So we have also, even how strong your argument is, you have to listen also to the ideas of others. Because by so doing, you are showing respect to them. And because of that, you have shown open mindedness as well, which are vital in creating positive relationship with your colleagues. And then empathy. Empathy is putting yourself in the shoes of others. So kung ikaw nasa kalagayan niya, what would you feel? Okay? So for example, no, isa sa question sa isang beauty pageant na napanood ko, sinabi ng nagtanong na judge, no, what would you say to someone who just closed his business because of COVID-19? So sabi ng contestant, instead of saying, okay lang yan, no, which is not good, dapat daw sabihin natin na it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel bad. Kasi that's part of the human nature, no? It's okay. So I think to empathize to someone, we need to put ourselves in the shoes of another person. And for us to be able to do that, we have to pick the right words to say, because sometimes our intention is good, but we say it in the wrong way, it might create conflict. That is why it's sometimes the best way to show empathy to others is not to talk, because your silence plus gesture will give a lasting impact to the person. 'Di ba yung iba inaakbayan lang nila yung friend nila, no, yung mga namatayan, hindi na nagsasalita yung tao. You can just put your shoulder, behind or on his back, and then no, yung iba hinahagod-hagod lang yung likod, no, to show empathy. So that's also an effective way. And of course, to listen. 'Di ba? We have 2 ears and only one mouth, which means that we have to listen twice as much as we talk. So, or twice as much as we talk. So, isang beses tayong nagsalita, pero dalawang beses tayong nakikinig. I think that reminds us that listening is is more important than talking. That sometimes it's better to just listen to the problem of the person instead of giving an advice. May mga tao kasi na hindi nila kailangan yung advice. Gusto lang nila is tenga na makikinig sa kanila. So, if we do that, then we can cultivate positive relationship in the workplace, which is very important if we want success in the workplace. Okay? Now, let's proceed to the next slide here. So, we also have, if there are tips or skills that we can cultivate for us to be able to achieve successful or effective communication, there are also some barriers to effective communication in the workplace. But the reason why it is important for us to know these barriers is for us to be able to avoid them, so that when we are already working and we see this barrier in the workplace, we can already mitigate it, or we can avoid these or the occurrence of these barriers. So one barrier is the noise. Okay, when you talk about the noise, it can be either internal or external. So internal noise represents the internal self-talking that we all do. And another is the external noise can include other conversations, traffic noise, or anything that interferes with our ability to maintain focus. No? So dalawang noise. Yung isang noise, yung self-talking na ikaw, ayaw mong makinig sa iba kasi yung pinapakinggan mo yung sarili mo lang. No? So ikaw lang. No? You are soliloquizing, talking to yourself. More or less, you are insisting that you are right. So it can be a noise to understanding. Kasi pag close book ka na, no? If you are close already to suggestions, so wala ka nang ibang pakikinggan kundi yung sarili mo lang, no? So which is not good, especially in a workplace communication. Yung external naman, it's very understandable, no? These are the noise that we get from the outside environment. So especially when you are in the office na masyadong maingay, so you cannot concentrate, no? Yung traffic and anything else. So noise is one barrier to communication. That is why if you want to hear each other, if you want to really engage in a healthy conversation, you have to look for a quiet place wherein you can discuss things, right? Another barrier to communication or to effective communication is culture. It can represent a barrier to communication when it keeps communication from happening or when employees communicate the information and input they feel are expected to communicate and not what they really believe. Okay? Yung culture mismo sa no, yung culture mismo sa opisina, for example, no? Na establish na, that can be a barrier to effective communication. So kultura na sa opisina na yan, na nagchichismisan sila, pinagchichismisan nila yung boss nila. So that can be a barrier to communication. That is why sometimes we need to change that culture. For us to be able to establish good communication, whatever culture that is established in that particular place that is not so good for effective communication, we need to dissolve that. We need to delete that and replace that with a healthy communication practices. Okay? So isa yan sa mga dapat nating tandaan, yung kultura mismo, no? Or bawal magsalita, for example, because it's only the boss that talks and the boss that decides on things. So that can also be a barrier to communication. But it doesn't mean that that is good. If that is the practice that is being done for so long a time, it doesn't mean that it is good. Okay? So which means that it is still open for change. If you can change that way of communication, if you can have more engaging type of communication, then why not do it? So in that way, you can achieve effective communication. And the third one is role. So role conflicts can create barriers to communication in organization, particularly when they involve interactions between subordinate and superior. So the role conflict, okay, so that can that can engage or that can create conflict, no? Ano ba yung role ko dito, no? So if you're the boss, so what should you do, diba? The boss should lead, right? So if we are not functioning according to our roles, then that can create a conflict. Diba ikaw yung boss, so ikaw dapat yung mag-decide, no? For example. Or diba members tayong lahat, we work as a team, so we should all decide. So, which means to say that it is very important for employees to always understand your job description. Okay? Because your job description will tell what kind of tasks you will work on, what kind of tasks you need to fulfill. If you don't know your job description, if you don't know your key result areas, you will not be able to know what kind of task or outputs or inputs you are expected to produce. So that is why role conflict can be a cause of or can be a cause of miscommunication or can be a barrier to communication. And then the fourth one is bias. Can be based on our preconceived beliefs. Millennials don't respond well to criticism or based on impressions we form of people as we interact with them. Okay? Hindi mo pa nga nakilala yung tao, sasabihin mo na UP yan, aktivista yan. Hindi yan parte ng ating eskwelahan or something like that. So if you are like that of a person, you are biased, you are stereotyping, people. So I think it's another what do you call this? It's another barrier to communication, which means to say that we have to give each person a chance to speak. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Do not do not overthink. Do not stereotype. Do not be biased. Do not be partial. So we have to be impartial. We have to listen to them, right? Kahit pa nga yung pinaka-bully na estudyante, may mga kwento din yan na pwedeng masabi sa atin. No? So sabihin natin, bully ang bata na yan, salbahe ang bata na yan. But at the end of the day, that bully has the most moving story. Na yun palang binubully, rich kid. Yun palang nang bubuli, nako, grabe pala yung pinagdadaanan sa bahay. Binubuli din pala ng mga magulang. So you see, we have to be sabi nga ni we have to be holistic, sabi ni AC, no? We have to be holistic. So which means that we have to look at the things, or we have to look at things in various perspectives, in various lenses. So we should not stereotype people. Being a graduate of UP doesn't mean that you are an activist. Okay? So which means that we should not put on impressions or judgments on someone that we barely know. Hindi pa natin sila kilala. No, we have to know them first. Okay? And of course, we have misinterpretation. It is important to be sure that the meaning behind your communication is clearly and accurately understood. When in doubt, ask for clarification. So this is what I like about this group, because every time you have questions, you post it on the group chat. Now that's really good. It's better to be, sabi nga nila, it's better to be stupid in a minute than to be stupid for the rest of your life. Kasi if you don't ask questions, chances are you will be stupid forever because no one will answer it for you, right? But if you ask a question, probably you will be stupid only for that short period of time. It could be minutes. And if you get the answers, then you can be intelligent already. You can be learned already because you have already received the answers that you need to hear, right? Maybe misinterpretation only springs from lack of trust to the person. Kasi hindi mo pa nga parang partial ka rin, no? Kasi hindi mo pa narinig yung side niya, parang diretso na nagcast ka na ng judgment. That's what happened to one of the teachers I have spoken to. They went to the barangay to settle an argument between her and another person. Pero hindi pa nga nakapagsalita yung teacher. It seems that the mediator had already the final verdict favoring the other person. So you see, that is so biased. No? And that bias could have started from preconceived impressions. No? May mga preconceived ideas ka na. No? Maybe you are against the other person. No? So kaya nga, it's very important to avoid misinterpretation, to avoid partial judgment. We need to hear both sides. Diba? King Solomon, when two women came to him and had a really big problem as to who owned the baby, diba? He listened to both sides muna, no? And listened to their stories. So as a teacher, we have to do that. As a member of the workplace, we have to do that. Siguro mga pagkakataon, so instead of immediately judging the principal for doing that, ask muna the principal kung tama ba yon, no? Yung pagkakaintindi mo. Kasi in that way, you can clarify issues. You can more or less remove those cobwebs that you have in your head. In that clarification will lead towards effective communication. Minsan, no, sa text message natin, naka-all caps, sabihin natin, no, because if you type your text or your statement in uppercase letters, in the internet lingo, it is interpreted, or yes, it is interpreted as shouting or being mad, or you are in a in a higher emotions, right? In a strong emotion. So which is why instead of reacting to it, that you would say, oh, maybe this guy is so mad at me because he wrote his statement in all caps or in uppercase letters. Why not ask first the person, what do you mean by this? Are you angry or are you mad? Maybe you can say that, or you can make for clarifications. Because I remember I had a colleague before, she's also a supervisor, and every time we communicated on Facebook, on Messenger, she would always write her statement in uppercase letters. And that's just her style. I just realized it in the, as years went by. I realized that that's just her style in typing. But I told her, you know what? If we are going to interpret this based on the standards that the internet or online communication has set for us, this the way you are writing your statement is showing a strong emotion. It could be angry, it could be excitement, it could be shouting. So if you don't want to be misinterpreted, please type it according to the guidelines for online communication. And he changed it because he actually didn't know about it. So you see, um, misinterpretation, the power of communication to avoid misinterpretation is really, really amazing. It can bridge, gaps between coworkers. It can settle differences. It can establish positive relationship. It can even strengthen good relationship among employees. So that's how important communication is, and that's how important effective communication is, especially now that we have different media, different fora for communication. So, which is why we need to maximize the different media that we can use for communication at our advantage by using them properly. It's not enough that you know how to use the internet. It's not enough that you know how to speak English or how to speak Tagalog or how to speak Hiligaynon. It is not enough that you have confidence in speaking. So you have to understand that every situation demands for a different type of communication, and different person that we are dealing with also demands for a different type of register. We have learned already the register, right? The different types of register. You can already make use of those, the principles that you have learned in achieving quality and effective communication. So that's the short discussion that we have for tonight. Do you have any questions so far? I got my insights here, or the presentation from the book of Magan R. et al. And Wakat et al. 2018. No? So both books are titled Purposive Communication. So the other one is Purposive Communication in the 21st Century. So now let's go back to our okay. Let me just stop sharing. So let's go back to the questions that I have posted earlier. Before we finally end, just a review of what we have just discussed. Let's go back to the question now. Based on our discussion, what is effective communication? So please type your answers in the chat box. Okay. So let's see if you can um, give me your definition or your description of successful or effective communications. What is effective communication? Okay, so let's see. Please type it in the chat box. I'm giving you 1 to 2 minutes to work on this. So any idea will be welcome. So please maximize the use of the chat box to share your responses. Okay? So please share your answers. Okay, I'm still waiting here.